In this video, we are going to be going over every single prank or practical joke that Rodrick Heffley has pulled on his younger brother, Greg. The first lie that Greg can ever remember being told by Rodrick is that if your belly button gets untied, your butt falls off, and he told all of his preschool classmates. Then, shortly after that, Rodrick tells him that boys are only supposed to sit on the inner ring of the toilet. Now, let's make our way over to the second grade, when Rodrick said that if you wear camouflage, you're gonna be invisible. And Greg actually tried to do this when he was in the second grade. What a weird kid, man. Why would you even do that, Greg? Come on. Then, shortly after that, is the whole money tree situation, where Rodrick basically took all of the money that Greg had dug into a hole, and also Rodrick has stolen money from Greg by pretending to be the Tooth Fairy. And speaking of the Tooth Fairy, Rodrick has told Greg that there's an arm fairy, a leg fairy, and basically a fairy for every single part of your body. Rodrick is really trying to scare his younger brother, I think to the point of traumatizing him, as Greg tries to go up the stairs 3 at a time in order to avoid being grabbed by a monster. And he's also convinced Greg that people on average eat 5 spiders a night, and that if you burp, the ghost of George Washington is going to come to haunt you. Rodrick's pranks can also be very physical. Not only does he punch Greg on April 1st, but he has also shot his younger brother with a paintball gun twice. Rodrick also doesn't care about publicly embarrassing his brother. As in Diary of a Wimpy Kid: The Long Haul, he proposes that Greg and him play a game of hide and seek in the pool, and that to prove that you didn't go underwater, you have to hold up a paper towel. But it turns out that Rodrick wrote, "I am not wearing a bathing suit," and Greg was holding it up. And let's not forget Rodrick taking a picture of Greg just before he's about to get splashed with water. Let's go back to the physical drama in Diary of a Wimpy Kid: Dog Days, when he pushes Greg off of a huge diving board. And the only reason that Greg got up on the diving board in the first place is because Rodrick told him that they were giving out free toys. And also, in the present day, Rodrick tells Greg that if he eats the watermelon seeds, the watermelon will grow in his stomach. Even worse is that when Greg wonders if something's going to happen to him, Rodrick writes in Dad's calendar that he is planning to sell Greg in order to scare him. Rodrick also pranks Greg in Diary of a Wimpy Kid: Cabin Fever when he feeds Santa Scout bad information and moves Santa Scout to the shower so that Greg gets scared when he wakes up. In Diary of a Wimpy Kid: Rodrick Rules, Rodrick basically forces Greg to eat a lot of watercress salad, and then he is forced to eat even more of it when he finishes his plate. And also, when they played board games together, Rodrick has a whole glass of milk in his mouth that he spits out at Greg. But how can we forget about one of the best pranks ever pulled? When Greg was only a few days into his summer vacation, Rodrick told Greg that he slept through the whole summer. And Rodrick actually put some thought into this. He dressed up in his school clothes, and he had the covers of his window down, and that ended up leaving Greg to be yelled at by his dad. In Diary of a Wimpy Kid: The Last Straw, Rodrick also pushes Greg, who is only wearing his underwear, out into a hotel floor. And before that, he shook a bunch of his hairs onto Greg's bed, causing Greg to have a really bad dream. And on page 62 of Diary of a Wimpy Kid: The Ugly Truth, Rodrick writes a humorous message on Greg's lunch bag. He also pranks Greg in that book by telling him that he microwaved Greg's spaghetti, when in reality he did not. So I think that is every single prank that Rodrick has pulled on Greg. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, but I hope you all enjoyed the video.